Why would someone lie about being blocked when her last message was still unsent? 9:13 p.m. A streetlight flickers over a black Toyota outside the Rusted Elm bar. Inside, Hailey Grant is seen glancing at her phone, her thumb hovering, her eyes wet. That's the last time anyone saw her alive. The footage lasts only 47 seconds. She stands near the door, bag on shoulder, screen glowing faint blue against her face. Then, she turns toward someone off camera and nods. Her phone stopped pinging at 9:17 p.m., but at 9:43 p.m., her ex, Chris Dempsey, texted a friend. "She blocked me again. I'm done trying." Only one problem: investigators later proved she never blocked him. Main suspect, Chris Dempsey, timeline gap, 26 minutes. But one detail didn't add up. The bartender, Callie Vance, remembered Hailey's last words. "If I don't text you by 10, call me." 10 came. No text. By morning, her coffee mug was still warm on the counter, car keys beside it. The world kept moving, but Hailey didn't. At 7:42 a.m., Detective Marlon Hayes pressed play on the surveillance tape again. There, in the reflection of the Toyota's window, a faint outline moved behind her. A man wearing a mechanic's jacket. And the phone she never sent that message from would later be found in his trunk. 48 hours before she vanished. They said Hailey Grant just needed air. A short drive, quiet mind. But when her car didn't return by morning, the streets of Riverton fell silent, because everyone remembered she'd just ended things with Chris Dempsey. Last seen, 9:17 p.m., outside the Rusted Elm. Callie Vance, the bartender, still remembers it. Hailey sitting at the corner booth, fingers trembling around her phone. Chris walked in moments later, calm, too calm, asking, "Did she mention me?" When Hailey left, she told Callie she'd blocked him for good. But a witness outside swore they saw his truck idling near her car minutes later, headlights off. Surveillance gap, 9:42 p.m. to 10:16 p.m. By sunrise, her phone was missing. 2 days later, it was found. In the trunk of Chris's car, under a layer of tools and oil rags. Detective Marlon Hayes stared at the cracked screen, the battery still pulsing faintly with one unsent text. "Jamie, if I don't make it home, don't believe what he says." Recovered text draft, 9:58 p.m. Jamie Rhodes read those words and broke down in the hallway, because she'd received a message from Hailey around that same time. But it was deleted minutes later. And when Dr. Alina Carr extracted the data, she found something that changed the tone of the entire investigation. The deleted message wasn't a text. It was a photo, a close-up of a cracked rearview mirror, with Chris's reflection caught in it, smiling. Photo timestamp, 9:56 p.m. Location, unknown. The question now wasn't where Hailey went. It was, how did that photo get sent after she was already gone? 2 days after Hailey vanished, Detective Marlon Hayes sat alone in the evidence room, the faint hum of fluorescent lights echoing above him. On the table, Hailey's phone, mud-streaked, shattered, but not dead. When Dr. Alina Carr powered it on, one notification blinked through the cracked screen. One unread message. From Christ, but the timestamp didn't make sense. It was sent 8 hours after Chris told police she'd blocked him. Time discrepancy detected. 1:14 a.m. Jamie Rhodes arrived minutes later, holding her own phone. She showed Hayes the same thread, but on her end, the conversation ended the night Hailey disappeared. No late-night text. No activity. Just silence. Then, Alina noticed something odd. The last message from Hailey's phone wasn't typed. It was a voice note, and when they played it, every hair in that room stood still. "If anything happens, check the photo in my glove box." Her tone wasn't panicked. It was resolved, as if she knew. Recovered audio, 013 SEC clip. Detective Eli Warner and Hayes rushed to the impound lot. Hailey's car sat under a plastic tarp, raindrops streaking down the hood. Inside the glove box, a photograph. Hailey, smiling, but behind her, a reflection in the glass window. Chris, wearing the same shirt he claimed he hadn't worn in weeks. Photo timestamp, 7:32 p.m. Location, the Rusted Elm. And that's when Callie Vance, the bartender, stepped forward with trembling hands. "She showed me that photo that night," she whispered. Said something in his eyes scared her. The room went silent, because what Callie didn't know was that the same reflection appeared in another image too. A photo taken days earlier, at a place Chris swore he'd never been. Forensic Lab, 11:47 p.m. Dr. Alina Carr adjusted the monitor's brightness. The photograph from Hailey's glove box glowed under digital magnification. Grainy, imperfect, but alive with secrets. She enhanced the reflection behind Hailey. At first glance, it was just Chris, smirking faintly. But when she isolated the window glare, something else appeared. A faint, blurred silhouette behind Chris. Image enhancement sequence initiated. Alina froze. The metadata revealed a hidden layer. 2 exposures, taken seconds apart, merged into one. Someone had edited the photo after it was captured. "This isn't just a picture," she whispered to Detective Hayes. "It's a reconstruction." The timestamp confirmed it, 7:32 p.m., the Rusted Elm, but the data log showed it was uploaded from a different device at 1:12 a.m. The same time Chris's text to Hailey appeared. Digital signature match, 1:12 a.m. Detective Eli Warner leaned in. "So whoever sent that message had access to her cloud?" Alina nodded. "Or her phone after she was gone." Jamie Rhodes entered the lab holding Hailey's spare camera. She had found it at Hailey's apartment, powered off, but with one file saved on the SD card. When Alina played it, the screen flickered to life. A short clip, shaky, shot through a car window. Hailey's voice, faint, almost drowned by the wind. "He keeps saying I'm overreacting. But why does he know where I go when I don't tell him?" Recovered video clip, 7:21 p.m. Hayes looked at the frame-by-frame playback. Behind her reflection in the glass, the same truck headlights dot Chris's truck. But there was one more detail Alina couldn't unsee. A handprint on the passenger window, smudged, dark, too high to be Hailey's. Fingerprint extraction pending. And when the partial print results came back minutes later, the room went silent. It wasn't Chris's. It belonged to someone who was supposed to be off the case. Detective Eli Warner. Match ID, E. Warner. Clearance file number 2106. Riverton Police Department, 3:19 a.m. The lab went quiet when the report was printed. Dr. Alina Carr double-checked the match. Same ridge pattern. Same scar indentation on the left thumb. No error. The fingerprint inside Hailey's car belonged to Detective Eli Warner. Forensic confirmation. 99.8% match. Detective Marlon Hayes closed the door to the briefing room. Only 3 people were present, Hayes, Alina, and Jamie. The air felt heavier than truth. "He worked the perimeter that night," Hayes muttered. "Said he never touched her vehicle." Jamie's voice broke the silence. "So why was he there before they even declared it missing?" Timeline recheck. 9:42 p.m. Hayes pulled up the security log from the impound lot. Eli's access card had pinged hours before the car was towed in. Alina replayed Hailey's final video, zooming in on the window reflection. In the faint glow of headlights, a shadow crossed her passenger side, broad-shouldered, wearing a detective's badge on his belt. Hayes exhaled, his throat tight. He was there, while she was still alive. The next morning, Eli walked into the station, calm, collected, wearing the same pressed shirt. Hayes was waiting. "We found your fingerprint inside her car." Eli didn't blink. "Of course you did. You told me to check it for prints that night." Contradiction logged. 4:11 a.m. Hayes frowned. He hadn't given that order. It was recorded. He'd been with Chris in interrogation at that exact time. So who told Eli to inspect the vehicle? When Alina traced the call logs, she found an internal number, a redirected line from Hailey's phone. "That means," she whispered, "the person pretending to be me used her phone to contact him." The implication sank in like cold steel. If Eli wasn't lying, someone had used Hailey's phone after she vanished to manipulate both detectives. Chain of deception detected. Internal breach suspected. Hayes stared at the report, realization dawning. This wasn't just about Chris anymore. Someone inside the investigation was rewriting the truth, and Hailey's phone was the weapon. 48 hours after the voice note discovery, Detective Hayes sat in the dark glow of the tech lab. The air was thick, too quiet for a police department. Across the screen, the forensic report flickered open. Unauthorized access. Device. Hailey Vance's phone, IP. Internal network. His eyes narrowed. Someone inside the department had accessed Hailey's phone. Not once, but 3 separate times. Log entries. 2:14 a.m., 3:27 a.m., 5:02 a.m. Dr. Alina Carr leaned in. "This isn't random," she murmured. They were searching something specific. Photos, audio files, and one deleted folder. Jamie Rhodes frowned. "What folder?" Alina hesitated. "A hidden archive labeled Mirror_Men. A shiver crawled down Jamie's spine. That was the same phrase Hailey once whispered in fear on a podcast episode. "If I ever go missing, look for the Mirror Man." Hayes ordered an immediate trace. The results loaded. One user ID popped up in red. Accessed by E. Warner. The room froze. Eli's initials. But before anyone could react, Hayes checked the time of the last login. 3:27 a.m. At that exact time, Eli was with him, standing in the hospital hallway after Chris's interrogation. He couldn't have logged in, unless someone used his credentials. Credential spoofing suspected. Manual entry detected. Dr. Carr's voice broke the silence. They didn't just access her phone. They copied the deleted folder onto a USB drive. Hayes clenched his jaw. Whoever did this wanted to erase her warning before we ever heard it. Then Alina turned the monitor toward him. "There's more. The system shows the USB was ejected at 5:02 a.m. Hayes' heartbeat quickened, because that was the exact time he'd seen Detective Rios, the quiet IT liaison, leaving the evidence room with a black flash drive in hand. "The Mirror_Man file is missing," Jamie whispered. So it wasn't just about Hailey's phone. Someone inside knew what she found, and they're still trying to bury it. The screen dimmed to black. Only one line of text remained. Access point. Police department server. Terminal number 7, logged out. Unknown. And that's when Hayes realized the call wasn't coming from outside. The monster was already inside the walls. 48 hours after the truth broke, the evidence room was quiet, too quiet. Detective Marlon Hayes stared at the screen, the cursor blinking over a single recovered folder. Mirror_Man.zip. Dr. Alina Carr leaned closer. "This was the folder deleted from Hailey's phone the night she vanished," she said softly. "It wasn't in the cloud. Not in backups. Only on one USB, the same drive Eli Warner had signed out hours before he was suspended. Recovered data, 14 files, timestamp, 11:58 p.m. They opened it. Inside 13 images, 1 video. The images were all reflections. Car windows, bar mirrors, store glass. Each showed Hailey smiling, unaware that behind her, the same silhouette appeared every time. A tall figure, cap pulled low, badge on his belt, glinting faintly under streetlights. And then the video. It began with Hailey's voice, breathless but steady. "If you're watching this, something's gone wrong. I think someone inside the department is using Chris to cover for someone else." Her phone camera shakes. A reflection flashes briefly. The man's voice is calm, familiar. "You shouldn't have looked at the footage, Hailey." Detective Hayes froze. The voice wasn't Chris's. It was Eli Warner's. Audio match confirmed. 97% probability. In the reflection of the window behind her, the same figure appeared again. The Mirror Man, the one everyone thought was Chris, was Eli. Dr. Carr's hand trembled as she paused the frame. He used his badge to erase her texts to fake the block. That's why the message appeared after she vanished. And the final file, photo_47.jpg was Hailey's last picture. Her smile, her camera pointed at the mirror. But in the reflection, Eli stood just behind her, his face half hidden, his hand reaching forward toward her shoulder. Final photo timestamp, 7:32 p.m. Hayes closed the laptop slowly. Outside, sirens wailed as they brought Eli in. And for a moment it felt like justice until Alina noticed one last thing. "Wait, there's a second folder," she whispered, hidden under system files. Labeled, mirror_man_2. She double-clicked. Empty. But at the bottom of the screen, a single file began to download, auto-triggered by the system. New_recording MP4. Received 2 minutes ago. Hailey's voice played through the speakers. Faint, distorted, but unmistakable. "You found me too late. Case file status, unsolved." The screen cut to black. The reflection of the detective's face lingered faintly, as if someone else was standing just behind him. The Veil of Secret. Subscribe for more real stories that should have stayed buried.